Tim, I'm excited. It's historic.
It is. We've been going for the last 3 years of all this doom and gloom. Guns, it's the guns. We're all dying. We need gun control. We need to pass the most comprehensive gun control in American history. We got to, guns. We got to get them rid of. We're dying out here. Oh, by the way, the homicide rate's down.
Congratulations. And it's not just down, it broke a record by multiple percentage
it's like
points.
1968 down. What cracks me up is this is literally a shift within days of the previous narrative. We're all dying and it's the guns and we got to ban them all. And they're like,
absolutely.
Well, this isn't playing well in the polls, sir. Crime's down. Homicide's down. We're all good. Look at us.
This is incredible.
Elect Biden in 24. We can continue the downward trend.
We can do it some more. So here's the thing that God, there's so much, dude. We could do a 30-minute episode just on this title. Just on the headlines and the shift of the narrative, man. So if you guys were not aware of what we're talking about, beautiful people, the Second Legacy, here's number one, Dr. Button Pusher. It is historic. U.S. poised to see record drop in yearly homicides despite public concern over crime. And the other one we're going to reference, homicides in U.S. set to drop by record numbers this year. Okay, Tim, listen. And I'm sure Dr. Button Pusher would feel the same way. I seem to remember, like you said, about 3 full years of full blast, full-throated, all the way throttle to the back of the fact that guns equal death.
Mm-hmm. It's the guns. We're all dying.
I seem to remember that.
Yeah. It's the guns' fault.
It's the effing guns. Yeah. That was a classy vibe. I really seem to remember just getting blasted and chastised because we believed in gun rights and it was our problem that people were dying, and that was the whole issue. And more guns was a direct 1-to-1 ratio to more death. I'm pretty sure. Is that a pretty good assessment?
Yeah. Forever under this administration, we've been told every single day until yesterday that 2 things are happening. Until yesterday, 2 things are happening. Violent crime is through the roof. We're all dying. And it's because of the guns. So those are the 2 points they've been driving home this entire time he's been in office. Until yesterday. And then, holy smokes, folks, we're poised for record low homicide rates. Oh my gosh, reelect Biden.
Yeah, dude. And you know what? Credit where credit's due, Tim. Credit where credit's due. These guys turned on a dime, and they turned so hard and so fast. They didn't even gently turn the boat to hey guys, it could be good. No, I'm still going this direction, and they're 19 miles this way, and I'm like, whoa, guys.
Yep.
Okay.
That was some.
In fact,
what's happening?
What's happening? That's right, Dr. Button Pusher. Bro. This is so bad. Look at the data. I'm going to show you 2 things here, 3 and 4. So this is number 3. This is what they're putting in the Axios article. Annual rate of homicides in the U.S. All of a sudden, Tim, homicide rate data in a graph form is available back to the 60s.
It's never been shown to us before.
So
yeah.
That's so odd.
This administration has left this out until yesterday.
Huh. Yeah, if only they had opened up these classified documents and we had known, and someone in, some sort of talk show on YouTube called Second Legacy had been pointing this out for the last year.
Yeah, how many times have we shown those same 2 graphs? We've been doing it forever, showing the same 2 graphs every time somebody says, we're all dying. No, actually, it's been trending down for decades.
Yeah. A lot. We've done a lot. In fact, let's jump over to, because they can't be true, Tim. It just simply can't be true, the number 4, that the previous graph will be going down while gun background checks would be going up. That conflicts.
To be clear,
I'm a little confused.
To be clear, the regime hasn't included this information. This is not something they want to include. They just want to take credit for crime going down, which it's been doing for decades. They want to take credit for that leading up to the 2024 election. They certainly don't want to say anything about gun sales also going to record numbers of sales and record numbers of owners out there with them, because that would be counter to their narrative, which is guns are still bad, but homicide's down because Joe Biden's done something. We don't know what, but he's done something.
Things and good. Yeah. Things and good.
What's happening?
What is happening? Exactly. You know what, Dr. Button Pusher, I'm feeling like bringing you in a lot more because you're on point. Can I get a freedom scream for Friday? Right there. That's America. It's America, because guess what? They've been lying to you the whole time. This is the part, Tim. This is emotional to me. I'm gonna share my feelings. I'm gonna crack open this rib cage and show you my heart a little bit. one of the reasons that drives me personally to do the amount of videos I do and fight the fight that we both fight, because they are trying to take the rights of everyday Americans and the people coming behind us, who are our responsibility to hand the rights to, through misinformation and lying and gaslighting. And for the last 3 years, it has been a nonstop, you need to get rid of these rights because they're harmful to you and only bad things happen. And now all of a sudden it's a reverse course because, well, turns out the gun control narrative was really important, but Biden getting elected is probably more important. So we're going to die down on the gun control narrative. We're going to pitch Biden for a minute. And then if we can get Biden in, then we'll go right back to the gun control narrative.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, dude.
Absolutely is what it is.
Oh,
it's so transparent to anybody with two brain cells to rub together. But what's even more funny are all the idiots out there that immediately take this and run with it, like Davey Hogg and all the talking heads on X. And everybody's just going like, pretty much pointing out what we've been pointing out the entire time.
Uh-huh.
Like, no, actually, this is a long-standing trend and there's nothing new here. But
right.
Yeah. But it's just amazing how they all, you know, when the Marxists, I've said this before, are so good at this. When they move in unison. And typically on the conservative side, we always have a little bit of infighting because we always have our core principles we won't deviate from. Leftists have no core principles. Their core principles are dictated by whatever their policy agenda is by the leadership at the time.
The collective.
Right. And so that's this whole collectivism, which is the whole basis of Marxism. We're all one big happy unit. Well, they're not happy. Look at them. They're miserable people. But this is how they move. They always move in unison. So when the directive comes from up top down, like, we're now supporting Biden and homicide rates are now down. Stop with the old narrative. Homicide rates are skyrocketing. People are dying because of the guns. Drop that tomorrow. This is the new narrative. And boom, lockstep. They're in line and marching towards that.
100%.
And so it's so fun to watch that. But, and you watch conservative-minded people, they'll question things. You never see that on the other side of the house. They don't question things. You'll see a split. Like, everybody's behind Biden right now. But look at what the conservatives are doing. It's Vivek or Nikki or Trump. There's all these debates going on. Not in the Marxist side of the camp. Lockstep, baby.
I think that's a shirt right there. Lockstep, baby. If you know, you know.
Yep.
Lockstep. So now this, I think I've been waiting for this moment. I think we did a really good setup, but this is the moment, Tim. Are you ready? Raw numbers. Are you ready? I'm ready. So Dr. Button Pusher, let's get that freedom flamethrower going. And now we check this out, Tim. I've got actual digits. Number 5, the homicide rate in the United States is expected to plummet nearly 13% compared to 2022. Okay. 13% sounds pretty tasty. Let's go to number 6. Before this year, the largest year-over-year drop in homicides occurred in 1996 when they fell by 9%. We beat the record by 4% historically, and we had the most guns ever bought over the exact same 3-year period.
Yep.
You tell me there's something else at play here.
From 2020 to present, because of everything that's happened, from the Wuhan Weezer to the George Floyd riots to all the unrest we've seen nationally for years, guns have skyrocketed, broken records like Obama level records of people just buying guns. Every time a news story break, man, just record numbers of people and record numbers of different groups. The old stereotype of just white, crusty old men from rural areas buying guns. That's not it, dude. You have women buying guns. You have minorities buying guns. You have various groups like the gay and lesbian community buying guns. It's everybody doing it. There are more gun owners in America at this point in time than ever before in American history. Guns far outnumber, or at least outnumber, the number of Americans themselves in this country at this point. And yet, we're having record low homicides. How's that possible? We've been told all along it's the guns.
It is the guns, of course. It's got this. There's got to be something else, Tim. There must be something else at play. Because even though the narrative that's been pitched to us, force-fed like a beer funnel, there's got to be something else at play here. Because obviously they wouldn't lie to us in order to take our rights.
Marxists never lie. They're the most straight shooting people.
They would never do it.
Yes.
They would never do it. Never do it. And by the way, you know what? I think, Tim, it's an appropriate time to say and make a clarification. We're talking about the people at the very, very tippity top who want to control the rights and control the whole levers of society, not everyday Democrats.
No, we're talking about the politicians in D.C., folks.
Yep, all the way up there.
There are no pro-gun Democrats left in D.C.
No, not anymore. I mean, I think that's going to change slightly over time, but I don't think. I mean, right now it's nowhere near, just because of all the demographic changes, and also even stories we covered last week around liberals buying more guns than anybody else, driving the numbers of ownership up. But anyway, different thing.
I got a question. I got to get on the Rumble strip for a second. Have you been paying attention to John Fetterman? He is
the Rumble. Oh no,
we're on the Rumble strip, folks. John Fetterman. I expect any day him to come out and make a pro gun statement. Just watch. The guy's doing crazy stuff, and it's really fun to watch. I mean, and what's ironic is I'm finding myself agreeing with him in some cases. I never thought that would happen. It's
very important to say.
In some cases, he's blowing people away. I mean, it's pretty funny. So I'm fully expecting him to come out at some point and go, yeah, this gun control stuff is nonsense. Let's see what happens. All right. Anyway, back off the Rumble strip.
No, hold on. You got to play in the Rumble strip. I got to play for a second.
Okay.
I think it was really funny, the little fight that popped up between Fetterman and James Carville, the guy who runs the DNC. Yeah. That was really fun, where they're calling each other names.
Yeah, and Fetterman comes back with, "You haven't been relevant since grunge was a thing." Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
Which you related to, of course.
Oh yeah, I remember grunge. I was young man. Carville was still an old man during grunge.
Good Lord. Well, but he's.
I think he's a true boomer.
Like smart and stuff.
I think he's an actual boomer. Yeah, I think he's in his 70s now.
Yeah, he is. He's funny. Well, I mean, Tim, I think we should congratulate everybody about, obviously, the reason for this huge drop in number 8, because this has obviously got to be it, right? It couldn't be anything else. Quote, "Something that we are doing is using new authorities from the most significant gun safety law that passed in 30 years, the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that passed last year. Wait for it. And with that tool, we've charged more than 300 defendants." Wow. Yeah, you nailed it.
300 defendants lowered their crime rate by 2,000 murders.
Yep. But 13, exactly. Nailed it, Tim. You are so on point today. This week you've been on it. You've had your ginkgo. You have. But legit, 300 people drop it 4% more than ever been done before and save 2,000 lives. 300 people. They were very prolific.
Wow.
Very, very prolific.
Yeah. It's funny how they must have been up all night trying to figure out how to make that sound reasonable. It's like, well, what have they done with this Safer Communities Act? Well, we can't find any evidence of anything. Well, let's just make something up. Well, they charged 300 people. Well, how did they even come up with that? Is that actually on the arrest form? We are charging, suspect A with violation of Safer Communities Act. It's like,
right. Like, well, and the funniest part is because this is a politician trick, because they always go with the big flowery names like, well, because of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, 300 people have been arrested. Okay, well, let's break this down a little bit for somebody who was there and who actually watched the entire stupid thing and knows what that bill actually did. So they basically made all 18 to 20-year-olds go through a mandatory 10-day waiting period per the ATF's interpretation. They changed the definition of who's a firearms dealer, and then they provided funds and red flag law bribery for states. That's what that did.
Maybe there were 300 red flag laws issued, and that's what they're claiming. Or not red flag laws, but 300 red flag orders were issued, and that's maybe what they're claiming. Because they had to pick some random stupid number of something, or they just totally made up 300. I don't know, but there's no way they could track anything that the Safer Communities Act did or mostly didn't do and correlate that to 300 of anything. I mean, that's just total reaching there.
Do you think we should bring up the point where Davey Hogg and Chris Murphy also said it would do nothing, but at least it's something? It's a baby step, even though it hasn't been implemented, and it was the best thing ever, but it was also crap, almost cursed.
Yes, that's what's so funny about the act was the people that were promoting were saying, because it got so gutted by the time it was passed. The people that were supporting was like, well, this isn't exactly what we wanted, but it's a good start. This will be the springboard for more comprehensive gun safety laws. And now they're saying, look, it's a miracle. It did everything. It's lowering the crime rate.
Biden 24. Man, y'all, I swear I can't with y'all. I can't. But you know what? Congratulations to all the gun owners who bought more guns than ever, who brought the crime rate down at a historic level, or the homicide rate down to historic levels. Oh, that is sweet and delicious, and I will say that until the election's over. Mark my words.